hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it. In between the finger pointing, there was grieving. On Friday, the White House flew the flags at half-staff, which got some criticism. But on a human level, you can see how hard the president is taking this.
My condolences on the loss of your friend Charlie Kirk. May I ask, sir, personally, how are you holding up over the last day and a half, sir?
I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks? They've just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House, which is something they've been trying to get, as you know, for about 150 years. And it's going to be a beauty.
Yes. He's at the fourth stage of grief, construction. Demolition, construction. This is not how an adult grieves the murder of someone he called a friend. This is how a 4-year-old mourns a goldfish, okay?
That's it. That's what got ABC to capitulate and the FCC to threaten legal action. The same week that Fox's Brian Kilmeade suggested killing all homeless people, it's Kimmel making one of the most innocuous jokes possible that was apparently enough to get his show kicked off the air. Of course, the reality is that that segment was innocuous, but the point is that it wasn't about the segment, it was about the government looking for any excuse, any justification, any pretext to silence and censor its opponents. And that's a point that the FCC's Brendan Carr was clear about here.
But frankly, when you see stuff like this, I mean, look, we can do this the easy way or the hard way. These companies can find ways to change conduct, to take action, frankly, on Kimmel. Or, there's going to be additional work for the FCC. Again, there's actions that we can take on licensed broadcasters. And frankly, I think that it's really sort of past time that a lot of these licensed broadcasters themselves push back on Comcast and Disney and say, listen, we are going to preempt. We are not going to run Kimmel anymore until you straighten this out, because we licensed broadcaster, are running the possibility of fines or license revocations from the FCC if we continue to run content that ends up being a pattern of news distortion.
Think about that language for a second. We can do this the easy way or the hard way. That's not regulatory oversight. That's extortion. That is a federal official threatening a media company with government retaliation unless they silence a critic of the president. And for those who still don't understand, let me translate that from bureaucrat speak. Nice broadcast license you have there. Be a real shame if something happened to it. But what's worse, this isn't an isolated incident. It is a very, very clear pattern. Just weeks ago in July, CBS canceled Stephen Colbert's Late Night in what was clearly politically motivated retaliation. Trump personally celebrated Colbert's cancellation, writing on Truth Social, "I absolutely love that Colbert got fired. His talent was even less than his ratings. I hear Jimmy Kimmel is next." And guess what? That is exactly what happened. Trump administration is systematically targeting anyone who dares criticize them, and they're using the Charlie Kirk assassination as a justification. Trump was clear enough about that even when he posted, "Great news for America, the ratings challenge Jimmy Kimmel show is canceled. Congratulations to ABC for finally having the courage to do what had to be done. Kimmel has zero talent and worse ratings than even Colbert, if that's possible. That leaves Jimmy and Seth, two total losers on fake news NBC. Their ratings are also horrible. Do it, NBC." That's your champion of free speech, Donald Trump. When Republicans spent the last decade whining, bitching, and moaning about censorship while Fox News was the biggest network on cable, and while they enjoyed massive advantages on nearly every social media platform, they weren't upset over some lack of free speech. They were upset because speech that they didn't like existed. They didn't oppose censorship, they wanted it to be wielded against their enemies. And it's not just TV hosts. Attorney General Pam Bondi said the Trump administration will be targeting hate speech.
Do you see more law enforcement going after these groups who are using hate speech and putting cuffs on people so we show them that some action is better than no action?
We will absolutely target you, go after you if you are targeting anyone with hate speech, anything. And that's across the aisle.
But here's the kicker. She's not even honoring the memory of the guy who she's purporting to honor. Charlie Kirk himself wrote in 2024, "Hate speech does not exist legally in America. There's ugly speech, there's gross speech, there's evil speech, and all of it is protected by the First Amendment. Keep America free."